Borisov, the Prime Minister of Bulgaria. You have the floor. Thank you very much, President Josipovic. And
радост за всички нас. Аз благодаря за добрите думи, но
for us to do it. I've always believed that discipline leads to success. If we in the Balkans enforce discipline on 4 points, I'm convinced that we will not fight for accession. They will invite us and they will be eager to have us. The first, maybe not most important, but for the Balkans that's very relevant, that's ethnic tolerance. That's #1 for the Balkans. I'm very proud that in Bulgaria we very strictly abide to ethnic tolerance, and we may boast. In my government, we have Muslim people, we have Roma people, we have people from all ethnic communities, and some of them are ministers. This is the most important thing to do. For the Balkans, people must know that they can get to the highest point in government. This is in the United States, in Canada, and in the most developed countries. Second, financial discipline. Donald and I, and gladly Zoran joined us recently, we all participate in the European councils. 90% of the time is spent on the economic and financial crisis. It has been the same for 4 years now, and Greece is the refrain now. Portugal, Spain, and Italy have joined the group. I will stop here. As Mr. Rasmussen very clearly mentioned the criteria that every country has to fulfill in order to be a NATO member. If you don't meet these criteria, you won't be a member of the club. The same holds true of the European Union. If you want to be a member of the EU, there are rules to abide by. The Maastricht criteria are one of these rules. These criteria were developed by the best economists in Europe, and they are now the cornerstone of the European Union. What do the Maastricht criteria say? Up to 3% budget deficit. If it exceeds 3%, it means the government spends more than it earns. And sooner or later, you will be facing bankruptcy. Someone will have to pay for that sooner or later. That's why Donald was speaking about wars and crimes at a certain point in time. Then a day comes when you have to pay the bill. That's why the economists said 3% budget deficit. Some people say we want more pensions and less taxes. Okay, you can have that, but first you have to reform your administrations, and then you can increase the salaries and pensions. You can take a loan from the EU banking institutions to pay the salaries and pensions. Why so? If you want to be a member of the EU, apply the 3% deficit rate. Second, the foreign debt. It is a time bomb. Bulgaria has a budget deficit which is less than 2%. It is feasible. We achieved it in financial and economic crisis. The Bulgarians suffered for that in the past 3 years when the pensions and the salaries were never raised. We, Bulgaria and Denmark, applied the Maastricht criteria. Why do we do that? Everyone wants a higher salary and a higher pension. However, it is lack of responsibility towards Europe and to the Balkans. The day before yesterday, we issued 1.2 billion bonds. We sold just 950 million because we have some outstanding debt. We issued bonds that were sufficient for that operation. If the criteria are abided by and if the inflation is zero, Europe won't be in a crisis. I repeat, it is only 3 countries that abide by it: Bulgaria, Denmark, and Sweden. It was just Bulgaria and Germany that were recently taken away by the European Commission from the excess deficit procedure. I'm saying that because we have a bad past. We are a country from southeastern Europe with Greece a member and Turkey a member, with Greece a neighbor and Turkey a neighbor, Serbia and Macedonia from the former Yugoslavia, which was in a state of war 15 years ago. That is to say, it is a region with a heavy legacy. Today, more than 20. Today, our EU absorption rate is 25-fold. Commissioner Hahn said a few days ago that today we are among the best project implementing agents. We achieved that by working on the administrative capacity of the EU absorption funds. Last month, we were in Bucharest for the cohesion policy. We count very much on the leading position of Poland and of Donald and, of course, of all of you. In the next programming period, I repeat, Poland had a leading role in that, especially Donald, on maintaining cohesion in the next programming period. For countries like ours, the cohesion funds are the alpha and the omega. Following ethnic tolerance, financial stability, the next point is the fight against organized crime and corruption. The faster we introduce the e-government, the better. In the past 2 months, in Bulgaria, we cracked down cocaine gangs that smuggled over 40 tons of cocaine across Bulgaria. Yesterday and the day before yesterday, we see 17 tons of hashish for with the Netherlands as a destination. Last month, we seized cocaine again. I'm glad that our services operate well, but it shows that in Bulgaria we have a very high level organized crime. The destinations were mainly the Netherlands and Belgium, and they were to receive huge quantities of drugs. We in the Balkans must establish good operating relations with Europol. It is a perfect organization with excellent staff who can be the coordinators in fighting organized crime. Wainwright is an excellent director. He is the former head of the soccer in Britain. He is a great professional. It is my recommendation that your heads of special services interact with Europol. And infrastructure, that's the last point. It is in a deplorable state in the Balkans, perhaps, if not certainly, the worst in Europe, to say nothing of the developed part of Europe. All the time we speak about Europe and the European Union. However, I don't know of a better model of democracy and economy and a way of life than those of Europe in which we are lucky to live. Europe sets the standard we want to apply. We want to be an example to be imitated. We want to demonstrate that we are equal to other states with our work, operation, and economy. That is why infrastructure is so very important. Can you imagine that European capitals are deprived of motorways? Sometimes they have, there are places where they have fast-speed rails and water transport and other types of transport, whereas between Sofia and Dubrovnik it takes us 9 hours of travel. Starting with the pre-accession funds and then the cohesion funds are the life-saving medicine for the Balkans, in addition to the rules that are to be applied. Back to the Maastricht criteria and the slaps that we got, they are a fact. Anyway, this is how our region can pull out of its present situation to mid-level position in Europe. We have excellent geography, we have natural resources, we have scenic nature. We have hard-working people. We have excellent conditions for agriculture in addition to the sunshine. We have all the factors in place, and if we are intelligent to manage all this, it will be perfect and better than remembering the past and talking about the wars and greatness gone. If we can overcome that, we will be okay. Croatia is a great example. I wish every success to the aspiring candidates. Countries like Bulgaria, Poland will decide the accession process. The Germans are tired of assisting candidates. That's why we must show more determination and more discipline. Again, I thank for the excellent organization. And